Ready, go. Welcome back, folks. It is the Lucia program with my special guest host today, Steve Aledort from LoanFinancialPlanner.com. So we've been beating up on the government a little bit today. You know, there are unintended consequences many times, even though the government may come forth with well-intended things that are designed to help people or lower costs or whatever. But we find that in many instances, the costs just go up. Steve, you alluded to that a little bit in the mortgage business before the break, that it costs a lot more now to process a loan than it used to.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, small amounts of that are now being passed on to the consumer, but the whole intent with all of these changes was to make it easier, was to potentially make it more cost effective for a borrower, and it's not doing that. I mean, in certain companies, based on their size, we've had to hire probably, 5 times as many people in the compliance area to make sure that when we're doing a loan, when we finish a loan, when we sell a loan, that it meets all of the requirements where Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, or VA will buy the loan. Because if they don't, then we get it back, and then the only way to sell it is to what would be called in the scratch and dent market, where you get maybe 60 cents on the dollar. So if companies don't protect themselves and they get a lot of these buybacks, you could run a good company out of business.
I thought that Trump was going to make regulations great again.
Well, he has to have support from all the Congress and the Senate to be able to start passing all of this stuff. And with the ideas that he had, I think could have been beneficial for the mortgage business. Whether they'll get to the point where we'll see them come to fruition, right now I've got some doubts.
Okay, I was talking about reverse mortgages. We have discussed it. I've talked about Dr. Fowl. He wrote a book on the subject. The CFPB is basically saying, Fowl, you're an idiot. They're not saying it that way, but basically they're denigrating some of the work that's been done by some very serious academics. Talk about reverse mortgages and planning.
Let's look at some simple facts. First, you had mentioned that they did not feel comfortable in recommending for an individual to delay taking Social Security and doing a reverse mortgage. But let's take a look at it. What's the difference between what you're able to pull in Social Security at the age of 62 and then at the top end, which is 66 and a half, 70. It's almost 75% more.
It is 75% more money. Do the math.
Let's assume that both of you are 62 years or older and can qualify for a reverse mortgage. Let's assume there's enough equity in the property and you have a mortgage and you're paying $1,500 to $2,000 a month on that mortgage. And if that reverse mortgage just simply eliminates that $2,000 a month, then what does that do? That puts you in a position where you can potentially hold off on pulling your Social Security so that you can pull more in your older years.
All inflation adjusted, which they neglect to really take into consideration in this article, but that's an inflation adjusted number every year.
And not only that, is you eliminate that $1,500 or $2,000 a month. Instead of then, let's assume that you have a self-directed retirement account. Instead of pulling $2,000 a month, actually you'd have to pull maybe $2,500 or $2,600 and take that other $500 or $600 for taxes and deplete that account over the period of time, where the reverse mortgage is allowing you to keep that money in that account, not pay taxes on it because you're not pulling it out, and allowing it to grow at a much higher return rate than what you're able to do with the reverse mortgage.
At a potentially higher return rate. We should be clear on that.
Correct.
But it's still, I mean, you bring up some of the financial aspects. Think about the emotional aspect of that. You have no mortgage now. You've got no mortgage. You're freed up. If you want to take that $2,000 a month you were paying to Bank of America or whatever and use it to spend for whatever your retirement needs are, great. If you wanted to take a little bit of money out or do Roth conversions, they don't talk about some of the strategy behind this. Remember, the reverse mortgage money is all tax-free.
And in certain situations, if you don't owe anything on your home, you can do a combination of creating a monthly income flow or cash flow, or you can simply set up a line of credit that you can pull and take money from at any time. And the beauty of a reverse mortgage, because it's federally guaranteed, that income is guaranteed for the rest of your life. They're doing a projection that your house is going to increase in value by, I think, 4%. If the market crashes and your home value goes down, doesn't matter. You're still going to get that monthly income flow. If you've got a line of credit set up, the line of credit actually grows.
Every year.
Every year, whether you're pulling money out of it or not. Again, what kind of investment do you have that will guarantee that it will grow no matter what happens in the market? But here's another point. Instead of amassing all of these great assets to pass along to your kids to get them when you pass on, if you have enough equity in the home where you can pull money out on a monthly basis if you need it, have a line of credit to access money if you need to, but you might have money that you can now pass on to your kids and see the enjoyment on their face while you're alive.
You betcha.
To get, for you to be able to help them out, it just, to me, there's so many advantages.
Folks, if you want information, Steve Aledort, loanfinancialplanner.com, or you can email me. I've got tons. I've got the academic research, and you can look it up yourself. So this CFPB article and their criticism is really not sound financial advice. It's just not sound financial advice. And it reminds me of times back in the day when individuals would talk about things like, well, you should never purchase an annuity inside of an IRA because it's a tax shelter inside of a tax shelter. And you scratch your head and you say, wait a minute, you're a government employee or you're a compliance officer. Do you understand that I just went through an analysis a few minutes ago. You can buy a 10-year annuity and get 3.5%. You can buy a 10-year CD and get 2.5%. You can buy a 10-year U.S. Treasury and get 2.1%. Which one is better? They all produce ordinary income. The annuity inside the IRA or the CD inside the IRA, when the money comes out, it's still all ordinary income. So that's bogus information. But yet I can tell you, I have sat across the desk from compliance officers and have had to explain the difference between ordinary income rates and capital gains rates. And I will tell you that I lost the argument. I was right, but it didn't matter because she said, well, on page 14 of the manual here, you're not supposed. Oh my gosh, are you serious? And that when I read this article on the CFPB releasing misleading report on Social Security, you can read that too. You'll be amazed and shocked that your taxpayer dollars are going for these kinds of studies that impact 0.1% of the total population. It's insane.
Yeah, so I would say the key is don't trust what the CFPB says or tells you what to do. If a potential reverse mortgage may fit into your plan and retirement plan, talk to a good loan professional that will give you insights into your situation and how it will work. In my scenarios, I'll give my clients ideas and suggestions, but then recommend that they take those suggestions to their financial planner, because I'm not a financial planner. I do mortgage loans, but I can give them ideas that they can then pass on to the financial planner. And with what I'm able to provide with how they can use the reverse mortgage, together we can potentially create an incredibly strong retirement plan that will either amass a greater fortune for the individual or generate more cash flow on a monthly basis.
It's so important that you have a team of professionals, a loan professional, a loan financial planner. That's Steve, loanfinancialplanner.com. He can lend advice on reverse mortgages, on traditional mortgages. The mortgage rates still holding pretty firm?
Yeah, actually the 10-year note, I think this morning crept down to between 2.08 and 2.10. That doesn't tell us specifically where interest rates are, but it's trended down. Over the last 2 weeks, it was hovering around 2.2. So we're seeing 30-year fixed rates high 3s, low 4s. 5 years, if you've got some really good equity, I'm seeing the 5 years in the mid 3s, and this could be for jumbo loans over $1 million.
Steve Aledort, loanfinancialplanner.com. Loanfinancialplanner.com. Thank you, Steve. I'm very excited to hear more about this reverse mortgage thing because I think it's a wonderful tool that, especially the line of credit, that everybody can use day one. You turn age 62, if nothing else, get the line of credit. You can get it for dirt nothing.
Yes, it becomes a great part of your complete financial plan.
Steve Aledort, Loan Financial Planner, 888-563-1070. We shall return with emails right after this.